Dystopia tonight.
Fuck out of town! Fucking treasonous pieces of shit!
Dystopia tonight.
Hey guys, we are live with one of my favorite comedians who I met over a year ago. I think right before the pandemic hit. Actually, right before the pandemic hit. That was one of my last gigs. I think before it hit. Paris Sashay. She's fucking hilarious, bold. Literally, you're one of my favorite people. By the way, I know we only met once, but you're just literally one of my favorite comics, one of my favorite people because because of this. We are live, and you're just walking, doing this podcast between gigs right now. You're my favorite human being.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you. Listen, you have to do what you can do. You have to find a way to do
Absolutely.
everything.
Yeah. Do you remember the night we met? We met at
I did the
yes.
Tommy Taylor
Taylor
show.
And this is when I fell in love with you, by the way, because there was a dude. There's nothing I love more than a comedian putting an older, useless comic in his place. And there was a guy there. I don't even remember his fucking name, but I do know I cut him out of all my pictures because he was such a dick to you. But he tried to give you like unsolicited and that you didn't even fucking ask for. First of all, you crushed that night. It was the first time I saw you. I thought you were hilarious. And then
Thank you.
And then he fucking, I don't know. He just opened his dumb mouth to try to give you advice, and you put him in his place like 10 times that night. Like just fucking nailed him over and over again. And I didn't know, like it was my first time meeting Tony and you and everybody else in that room basically except for Tommy. So I was quiet, but I was fucking loving it. So I just immediately, I was like, I don't know who she is, but I've got to work with her again. I got to see her again. So you're just fucking amazing.
That night it was actually a great show. It was a great
It
night.
was.
But then you have stupid people who like, we're beyond the point where women don't have voices and guys can talk. We're beyond that. So it's like, if I have to be the voice for the women, I will.
Yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Oh, it was so beautiful. It was just a masterful. I was like, it also was like one of those things where I was like, you can do that to somebody in a green room? Like, I always kind of do it after the fact, but I was like, I didn't know you could just fucking say what you want to say in a green room to a piece of shit. That's great news. Oh,
listen, if more people start doing it, then the chances of people doing it will be higher.
I fucking 100% agree with you. Ask Tom. Tom, this is Paris, by the way. Paris, this is Tom.
Nice to
He
meet
produces.
you, Tom.
Such a pleasure, Paris.
Yeah, that was just fucking awesome too. And I love that during the pandemic, by the way, the bit that you have blew up on TikTok. First of all, I think I watched everybody's duet of that bit, by the way, because first of all, it's just fucking hilarious to begin with anyway. And if it wasn't for like legal stuff, I'd play it because they're gonna flag us if I throw it up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's just, how did that feel seeing that just explode all of a sudden?
I feel like it came in the perfect time that it could come. Because it's like the entire world is shut down. Comedy is not open. There's this Zoom show thing, but it doesn't feel the same. And it's just like in the midst of the depression of like, my life is on pause. I woke up one day and I just seen over 2,000 people doing this. And I'm like, oh, wow. So there's still sun in the darkness of the pandemic. So that's amazing.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, it was amazing. Like, I swear to God, it was the same thing where like one day, because I followed you after all that stuff and I knew your material, and then all of a sudden I'm like scrolling through TikTok and somebody else is doing your voice, and I was like, what the fuck is it? And then I was like, oh my God. I'm like, she's blowing up. I was like, it was so great.
It was crazy because like people were sending it to me and I'm like, I'm not like, I don't even know what this is. Like the first time people like, I do not know what you kids are talking about. What's TikTok? What is this stuff?
Right.
And then I went and looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is amazing because it's like promotion. But then it also showed me that there's a lot of people who are picky with their gay.
Yeah.
And I think the world needed to know that. I think seeing how many people could relate, I'm like, see, it's not just me. There's other people who think like me.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's another thing I love about you too is I mean, I feel like the word, just in stand up in general, honesty gets kind of thrown around a lot, but you are blatantly fucking honest in your set, in your life. I watched an interview with you recently. This is going to sound, now I feel like I'm veering into stalking territory, but like I watched an interview with you that you posted on your Instagram. I don't know who it was with, but you were talking about, I think they were trying to like, or maybe they weren't trying to, but they were trying to like pigeonhole you, basically saying like, you're a lesbian, but you don't like dick, and you were like, no, like I do. I have emotional connection to women, and then
Right.
you just came out and said, but you want it all, which I loved because very rarely do people just throw out the fact that like, yeah, no, I want this part of it, but I also want this part of it, and I can have it all.
I think people are in denial. I think a lot of people want it all, but they're afraid to say they want it because people
Agreed.
are so judgmental. But it's like we only have
Yeah.
one life. I want
Yep.
everything while I'm here.
Dude, I 100% agree with you. And every time I talk to people about relationships, they do the same shit with me. In that, like, I'm a single guy. I've been in relationships before. I've dated a lot of women before. I liked at one point in my life, I liked the relationship side of it, and now I just want to fuck and have fun and go to the movies. and I feel like as I'm getting older, people are like, you really need to. You need to stop that and like lock it in and settle down. Like none of you are happy. So I don't know what the
Right.
fuck you're talking about.
And we survived the pandemic. It's like if there's a better time, I think it's now. I think everything we ever wanted to do that we didn't do should happen now. Why not?
Absolutely. Oh, I know. I'm in the same mindset. We just that's over, and I'm ready to fucking everything. I'm like, that was nuts. Let's never limit what we can do again.
Exactly. Let's do it all.
How do you feel going back? Are you good with the whole like? Because I just did my first show back in New York, headline Greenwich Village, and it was fun. But I was like battling my hypochondria a little bit because we don't have to wear masks anymore, and it was
Right.
fine. But I was also a little like, some of these people don't look like they believe in vaccinate. You know what I mean? Like, where you're like,
It's a scary because I'm in between. Like I'm at shows and I'm outside, but I don't trust it. Like I get tested at least 3 times a week. And
yeah,
it's starting to feel like an AIDS test now. It's like, why do I have to get this thing so many times? Like I don't have it. I
right.
don't have it. So it's like I don't feel safe, but then I think a lot of the people at the shows are vaccinated. So it's
Yeah.
like as long as they're vaccinated, then I'm fine.
Yeah. I agree. I know. I feel like everybody's been really good about it, and it's funny too because like even I've noticed without even really asking, people are like, "I'm vaxxed, by the way. Are we good to
Right.
get like do you want like whatever?" And I'm like, no, it's fine. Me too. Like it's like a quick check up on whether or not you are, and it's weird, but yeah, I don't mind. I'm excited to go back out. And you're going? Where are you going now?
I'm going to I think this is called Drool Comedy. So I'm here and then I'm at Williamsburg Hotel and then I'm at the Stand after that.
Oh, dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, so
What
it's like I'm really outside like all the way now.
You're like, no protection. It's
There-
just me.
There's nothing, no protection. Just me. I'm out here. I don't know if it's worth the jokes. It'll just be worth it. But I think it's fun. I think people need laughter now, so it feels almost normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the audiences have been really good. Like I did another show with the Stone Pony to benefit Jersey Shore artists. So that was my first real thing back on stage or whatever. But we were raising money for them or whatever. And the only audience that was there was like the crew that were shooting the special. And then but they were like pumped to just fucking see any kind of live entertainment, and that felt really good. I feel like the audiences are pretty eager.
Yeah, I think the audiences are happy, and that's really what it's about. So
Yeah.
I just think it's a good time. I don't have worries. I mean, I think about it often, but it's like I'm out here and I'm thinking about it. So whatever happens, let's just have fun while we're here.
I agree. That's awesome. Well, you're in New York now, right?
Yes.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. That's awesome. You said Williamsburg. That's pretty cool. Are you living in New York now? Are you?
So I was in DC, then I came here for a week, but it's like I'm about to go on the road a bit, so it's just like
Nice.
I'm just living in a suitcase.
Yeah. Oh, dude. I've had a bag packed since the pandemic hit because I never wanted to not be ready. It's like,
Right.
let's go.
Because you never know when you'll get a call.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now.
What are the road? What road gigs do you have coming up?
I have Atlanta coming up this month. Atlanta, Philly, and then in July, Cleveland and Indianapolis.
Oh, nice. So none of the real rednecky states. You don't have to worry too much.
Yeah, no, I mean I'm past that too. It's took me down if I go to the redneck states. It's like, listen, you guys are dickheads. Let's all agree and move forward. It's other things to talk about now. Like we made it through
Right.
those four. Let's just admit you guys are wrong and move forward.
Yep.
There you go.
I agree. We were talking about a little bit before about just parallel thinking and material and stuff like that. Tom, you said you wanted to ask her about just joke, like you were talking about like joke thievery or like whatever we were talking a little bit about before.
Yeah, because we were talking about a whole bunch of jokes and like the premises and where they were going and where they come from with each person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I found it interesting. So like I was watching a bunch of your bits, and then I'm like, I see these other people. I'm like, they're using like a similar premise, but they didn't dig in like you dug in and tore through it, right? So I wanted I want to discuss like with all comedians, like what are your thoughts on that, right? Do you feel like people see you and then run with your idea sometimes, even if they pull it into another direction? Or God, sorry.
I think a lot of people have similar thoughts. I just think that's the way we work as humans. Like we think a lot of the same most of the time.
Yeah.
But I feel like watching somebody twist the entire story out and drain it, I feel like that comes from a personal place rather than somebody just telling the joke and then they don't have the full detail of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like if I see someone even do something similar in the beginning, it's like they didn't live through the experience though, so it won't be the same as when I tell the joke.
That's a good point.
Yeah, or any comedian. Like I feel like that's a big thing with all comedians, right? Especially because people travel around so much and so many different venues that I feel like we're in a different age though too now, right? So just like you said, like you're on TikTok and it takes off. So like if you crush a premise and they run with it, I feel like we're in an age where like they almost want to see the same duplication of things over and over and over. So I was talking to somebody about that on TikTok, that's into TikTok. They're like, yeah, it's all about like repetition of almost the same joke in different scenarios.
Right.
So like it's a totally different animal now, where it used to be if somebody took something from you and then went to the right, you never saw them. There was no social media where you were able to be like,
thank you.
Come on now.
Oh my God. I love it.
I feel like this is a great interview because you're on the go the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I think that's very true. I don't know. When it comes to me and my jokes, though, I think they come from personal experiences. So even if somebody has the same lead up to the joke, I still don't think it will be as good because it's not from a personal experience, especially if they're just doing the joke because they're stealing. So it's like, even if you steal, I don't really care because it won't be my joke. And then it'll show that your joke isn't authentic when it's time to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that. You're absolutely right. There's different ways comedians work, and there's ones that work from a very personal experience, and they have, you can tell immediately whether somebody leaves something on the ground and they don't really give a fuck about it, and they probably lifted it from something, whereas somebody's like literally working through it on stage. I have did you find like during the whole pandemic and stuff like that, like there were these, sites. I'm kind of I've like comedy aside, like I ever since like high school, I've always been that person that's sort of like politically aware and like all that kind of stuff. So I get like annoyed when like Instagram pages or whatever kind of curate material from comedians and then suddenly start profiting off of it. And it really pissed me off during like the protests and like the BLM stuff or whatever, because every comedian's got their take on it, they've got their spin on it, they started protesting. But there was a couple of those fucking Instagram pages that would take my shit, and then all of a sudden I'd see it on t-shirt. Do you have that same problem where people like lift your like do you get annoyed with that kind of shit? Because it would drive me crazy, but it feels
I haven't had that experience, but this is what I will say. I think Corona during the shutdown and TikTok, it created this thing where people could just take
Yeah.
because it's popular. So it's like there's so many people who don't mind people stealing their stuff because it's like, well, it'll get out quicker than me if I do it.
Yeah.
So I feel like it depends, but I haven't experienced that myself. But then that comes to the point where it's like, should you post everything on social media if it's not patent?
Right. That's
Yeah.
it. That's what I was wondering, because I love that at the very least, the stuff that they were duetting with you comes from an album and you can see it on the corner of, on the bottom of the thing. But I was like, what happens when, somebody just snags your audio and then doesn't? I was like, how do you even like market that or capture that?
So
It's weird.
that's the weirdness in TikTok because you can't. They
Right.
can use anything that they want and steal anything that they want, and there's no rules. That's the downside of it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
It's
you can get 100,000 views, but if you're not getting paid off of any, what's the purpose?
That's what fucking. That's exactly it. Like I somebody had snagged a Facebook post of mine that I had put up, and they had like 1 million something followers, and I only saw it because somebody else saw it and showed it to me, but they never tagged me in it. And I was like, well, that fucking sucks, because on one hand, I love that everybody's seeing it, but on the other hand, no one's getting to me.
Right.
I'm like, I appreciate you liked it, but for fuck's sake. Shit.
Yeah, that's the downside of it.
Yeah.
And that part really sucks because it's like, what can you do about it? I don't really think there's anything you do about it.
No, not at all.
All I can say is if you take the fans that come from it, if they do find you, or in some instances, you have to go see where they posted your stuff and right under it. So then you can take the fans. Now, if you take those fans, then you can profit off of it in the long run.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, I noticed I would try to like awkwardly comment on stuff like, "Hey, it's me, and thanks for sharing." Like,
right, this is my material. I'm not sure if you guys know who I am, but this is mine.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, hey, and meanwhile, I'm like, knuckle biting, like, fucking thanks for that. I appreciate it.
Right, like it's good in a day. That's not about it.
Yeah, exactly. So what have you so like during the pandemic and stuff, were you like trying to do the Zoom shows? Did you feel like they were fun, or did you just kind of work on other shit and try to avoid it?
I did some of the Zoom shows. I don't think they were helpful when it came to doing shows in person, because it's like you're in your house, people are in their house. I think the bar was lower. Like the bar was lower, so it was more like a conversation. I never really felt like the Zoom shows were a show. It just felt like a good, funny conversation that you needed to have.
Absolutely.
So then when it was time to go back outside and you had to stand up, it's like, oh, this is nothing like when I was sitting in a chair.
Yeah. There's a lot of people who started comedy, oddly enough, during the pandemic on Zoom shows, and I'm kind of watching them in the clubs now. And I'm like,
they're in the clubs?
They're trying. And a couple of them I know, they're not. They were. It was it's the only time I think I enjoyed watching another comedian squirm, like in a bad way. Where I was like, it's a little harder than signing online, and
Yeah, because that's not nearly as hard as being on stage in front of two people that don't care about what you're talking about, and you have to convince them to care.
Yeah, absolutely. It was weird, man. I didn't like the Zoom shows at first. I did a few of them or whatever, but I didn't mind the pay for some of them. You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
the pay was the best part.
Yeah. I was like, when you get paid for them, you're like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm home. I'm not wearing pants.
And you get the money right away. It was like,
yes,
we needed this. So the money definitely made sense, because you just sit on the couch, talk for 10 minutes, and hey, here's $100 for your troubles of showing up to the screen. That's the beauty of it.
Yes. And it even the playing field too, because it felt like it was fine. People were finally coming to me. I didn't have to go anywhere. I was like, this is what Ellen feels like.
Yeah, you definitely could create your own stage the way you wanted to create your own stage. So that was fun for those reasons. But the comedy of it, I haven't used one joke that I wrote on Zoom shows in person.
Yeah, I know. That is, it was a lot of talking and a lot of trying to figure shit out. But I did enjoy everything that came out of like, there were like random, like it was nice working with people other than shitty club owners for a change.
Okay.
Because I enjoyed watching. I don't know about you, but there were some club owners that were like, "Oh, I hope you fucking get buried." Like,
Yeah,
when I
no,
was
there was a
like,
lot of clubs that was going bankrupt. And I'm like, so these people that didn't book comics because of talent don't have money? Wow. I was
yes,
impressed.
right?
I was impressed
I
to
know.
know that
I
these
agree.
clubs just broke as a comedian. So it's like, oh, so no one's really doing better than anyone.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
that's the craziest thing is like I feel like we survived and like if anything I feel like comedians should come out of this with a new sense of like purpose and authority and just sort of like
Right.
no, I'm not going to work for that amount of money, and also you were struggling and we were figuring out new ways to adapt.
I totally agree. Now, if people had that mindset, I think they would have to pay people more. But then you have
Mhm.
majority of people who are like, I'm just happy to be on stage.
Yep,
So that's the problem.
absolutely. And those are most of the Zoom comics who are
Right.
like, "Oh, I'll work for nothing." You know what I love?
Yeah.
You know what is hilarious? I like there was a certain there were a couple bookers who turned from sleazy comedy club booker to photographer of female comedians awful quickly, and I was like, what
Oh,
kind of
really?
fucking scam is this guy running?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't even get to see that part.
Oh no, I'll send you some links.
I'll send you some links. That's funny. I'll send them to you.
They're not,
Hilarious.
yeah. So is there anything that you like are looking like? I know you've got like club dates going back on the road and stuff like that, but I mean, you just came out with your album, Paris Sashay,
Mm-hmm.
My Honest Ignorance. Great fucking album, by the way. Um,
Thank you.
are you working on you have another project coming up?
So I'm working on recording a special
Mm-hmm.
video. So this one's audio, but I think
Nice.
this next one I want video, and I'm thinking about independently shooting it in July, and
Ooh,
then seeing who I want to pick it up.
nice. See,
So
that's the
that's the next
smartest way to
project.
do it. That's the
Yeah,
smartest way to do it. To have it done, finished, a product that you like, that you're in full control over, and then seeing who wants to buy it.
because then you can get the most money. I feel like if they feel like they
Mm-hmm.
help you pay for it, then it's like they want more money taken out of it. If you come to the table with it, now you can bargain for what you want because you paid for it to be what it is.
Yeah.
So you should be able to get the top dollar that you want.
Yeah, and also like anybody that's done like have you the cool like I liked doing like I did Gotham Live, and that
Mm-hmm.
was fun because they don't harass you too much about your material. You know what I mean? Like if they like you, they like
Okay.
you, they don't run it through. But I know people who have done like the the Comedy Central specials or whatever, and they literally
Mm-hmm.
have that prompter, bullet points, you have to stick to what you say. That would fuck me up, I think.
Well, I did the Comedy Central thing, and it was just more so they didn't have that many rules, and then when you got two set, they were like everything that we said about rules don't matter.
Oh,
So it
wow.
was weird. Yeah, that oddly enough, I feel like a lot of production things are like that. I think
Okay.
the beginning is just like, don't do this because of this, but then you get there and they're like, oh, you can do whatever you want. It's like, so why did y'all have me worried for 3 days straight? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's
It
so
gets
fucked up.
entertainment is weird, but yeah, the comedy it's all pretty normal.
Okay.
So, but independently doing it, I just feel like that's the way for right now, and I'm also working on a script. So hopefully 2022 that will
Ooh.
be very big.
That's fucking awesome.
Nice.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah,
That's
and a
fucking sick.
book. So during Corona, I also was starting
And a book.
writing
Holy
the
fuck.
book. Yeah, yeah. I feel like we had a break, so now you just have to roll everything out because we don't know how
Hmm.
much time we had. So
No, I know. It's weird. I feel like everything that I started doing for the pandemic to kind of stay afloat is now
mhm.
merging with everything I was doing pre-pandemic. So I have 10 times the workload. But
Okay.
I'm like, is anything going to stop? I mean, not that I want it to, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm fucking exhausted.
Yeah, I will say coming back, trying to just jump back into it with the world opening so fast, it's like,
Hmm.
wow, I didn't realize how much work I was really doing prior to the pandemic.
Yes.
But now I'm
Yeah.
tired because I'm like, I didn't have
Yeah.
to do work for a long time.
Right. Yeah, I miss the it's fucked up to say, but I don't care. Like I did enjoy some of the pandemic. Like obviously not the part where I lost people or other people lost people, but there was that kind of like moment in time where I was like, "Oh, everybody's fucked and I'm also fucked." So that's so nice.
Right. Yeah, when it felt like you you really weren't going through as much as you were going through because everybody was going through it.
Right. Yeah, and it wasn't anybody's fault in particular. I mean, we knew whose fault it was, but it wasn't like
Right.
it wasn't our fault for a change.
It wasn't anybody's fault. Yeah, we knew whose fault it was.
Yeah.
But definitely not our fault.
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly. I felt like it was a
Totally
snow
not
day.
our fault.
I was like, "Oh, the buses can't get to me and I can't go to school, so I don't know what to fucking tell you guys."
It wasn't bad as it wasn't as bad as it seemed
Were
to be.
were you single for the pandemic or were you dating? What was your situation with that?
So I did lose my relationship during the pandemic. And as
Mm,
sad as it
sorry to hear
was,
that.
yeah, no, as sad as it was, I'm extremely happy. So I think that I think it was supposed to happen because
Yeah.
I needed to come out of the pandemic much happier than I went in. So
Right. I
there
agree.
was beauty in that, and there's so much material about it. So
Hmm.
I think it was a good thing, even though it
I
was a bad
love
thing. It was so good.
o- only a comedian would. I love that I got so much material out of that. I love that you threw that in there because it's so fucking true.
Yeah, I think once we become comedians, we're like internally monsters. So it's like
Yeah.
even through pain, it's like, but what's funny about this pain? Because I have to laugh to get over it. So
Yeah. I
I
was
went through the sad phase,
yeah,
the crying and laughing phase, and then just the healing phase. So I feel like I went through all three phases, and now
right.
I'm ready to talk about it. So that's what the special will be included a
Oh,
lot of
that's
after the
fucking
break.
fantastic.
After the break. Yeah. So that's the
That's
beauty
amazing.
in it.
Yeah. I felt even before I was talking to a friend about we were just talking about our first times having sex. And this is
Hmm.
obviously before I started doing stand up. But I remember the first time I was about to have sex, I'm with this girl that it was like the summer after senior year of high school. So we're right before we're going away to college, but the summer
Okay.
is just a time for fucking around and having a good time. So just about to do it. We're completely naked in my bed. Nobody's home. Fucking good times. And she starts crying, and I'm like, okay, I've never done this before, but I know that's not supposed to happen. And then like working through it, I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on. And then she tells me that she cheated on me, right, with her ex, like right
Oh
before it's
wow.
about to happen. And
Hmm.
all I could remember thinking was I was devastated, but I also in my brain I was like, one day this is going to be fucking hilarious. I don't know when, but I was like, because I was also like, okay, am I never gonna get to do this? I'm like, you couldn't have told me after I fucking got to like this is horseshit.
Yeah.
And then, but I remember thinking, oh, this is gonna be funny one day.
Yeah, that's where I am now. So at first I was like trying to figure out on the Zoom shows, like how do I express it? What do I
Hmm.
talk about? So I did an hour on Zoom. 2 weeks after the
Nice.
breakup, I did an hour on Zoom, and my mom said I could only call her 10 bitches. So I had a 10 bitch limit. So I had to build material around only saying bitch 10 times. Um, of course I failed.
That's
I
so
called them
great.
30 bitches, but
Right.
it still was good. So I thought
Oh,
about even naming the special. I can only call her 10 bitches.
oh,
But
that's
we'll see.
great.
We'll see. So it turned out well, and then like I told the stories of it, and I don't know, it just felt better after the Zoom because everybody
Hmm.
took my side like they should have because she was wrong. And
Yeah.
people love me. She was absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
So it just I don't know, it helped, and that was like the start of being like, okay, it's time to talk about it. And tell your side of the story and heal through that and work on the second album. So that's
Nice.
what's next.
Well, that's fucking awesome.
So
That is so
now
great.
I'm all wet, and now I'm at the show. I feel like I'm doing a documentary, and it's
Yeah.
a podcast. Like, yeah, follow me. This is the journey of a stand-up comedian from the train to the stage.
Oh
Even in
God.
the rain, sometimes you have to get your phone wet. But listen, you have to make sure you do it for the people. It's not about you; it's about the people. So,
Oh my God. This is so great.
That's
Oh.
definitely the name. That's the name of this show. From the train to the stage with Paris
That you
Sashay.
guys have heard all type of sounds in the background. It's like, no, she's really walking to the, and I walked 20 minutes in the rain just to show
You
how
did.
dedicated I was to make sure I had service for the podcast.
That is
Yeah.
beautiful. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great set tonight. Thank you for coming on. I miss you. I hope we get to work together again soon. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure we will. I'm sure
Good.
we will. We'll find a way to make it work. Definitely.
Absolutely.
And this show, I'll make sure I don't have to cuss anyone out. You'll see the good side. Unfortunately, the first time you got to see the real side, but now it's like I'm not always like that.
Under
Thank you
10
so much
bitches.
for having me.
Yes,
Under
no.
10 bitches.
Thank you so much for coming on and for walking in the rain and making me laugh so hard. Thank you so much.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
I'll talk to you soon. Thank
Talk to you
for
soon.
having
Peace
me.
out.
Dystopia tonight.